Sable is a poor orphan boy without memories from his past. As the son of the strongest magician, Sable is born with unlimited magical power, making other witches hunt him and his mother down in order to absorb his power. While still a little boy, Sable is forced to watch his mother's demise by the hands of a witch. As a result of the trauma, Sable seals all his memories and becomes a homeless kid. Sable can't remember who he is when he meets a lady. He shares the same set of blue eyes with the lady. He is quite curious about who she is until she offers to take him to a world that fits him better. 3 years have passed since then. Everyone is looking at the notice board of the school. They are all curious as to why there is a command to summon our protagonist Sable to meet the headmaster of this academy. When Sable gets to the headmaster's office, he can see that there is what looks like a young girl banging on the door of the headmaster. When he comes over to ask what she is doing, she is frustrated for not being let in. So she transforms her magic staff into an axe and then rests its edge on his neck, threatening Sable to help her get in. Upon seeing this, the headmaster's guard Hold'em comes to rescue Sable. While fighting with the girl, Hold'em manages to disarm her. Sable is about to touch the staff, but Hold'em runs over and pushes him away and kicks it back to the girl. With all this commotion, the headmaster Albus finally opens the door. She is astonished to find Lou outside her door. After all of them go inside Albus's office, she explains to Sable that he is summoned because Albus wants him to go train in a different environment. Seeing that he is not improving at all at his academy, we then get a little explanation about this world between the church and the witches. A conflict occurred 5 years ago. Albus asks Sable why this country is a country for witches. Sable believes that the cause was the conflict. 10 years prior, an evil sorcerer rose up and taught the people of this kingdom about magic, so that he can wage war, turning this entire world into one that is ruled by witches. Albus claims that she was the one that defeated the sorcerer. She established a school in order to advance the study of magic. She is speaking to Sable about some serious business, but the other two keep bickering. Only upon eating the confectionaries does little Lou stay quiet. Saber would be transferred to a village that Albus founded under the title of a mage. However, if the inspector finds the village unsuitable in the next 3 years, then all of his memories, magic, and institution will be sealed. Lou acknowledges this mission and wants to accompany Sable. Even though Albus is against this, she has not much of a choice. Lou's real reason for helping is that she wishes to read the Forbidden Grimoire, which is in Albus's possession. The Grimoire of Zero. It has the power to destroy the world. Albus instead will let Lou meet the author of the book, the Mud Black Witch, and so she gladly accepts. The next day, Sable meets with Lou at the city center, getting ready to set out. But they are also accompanied by Hort. She's an upperclassman, and also Kudo, a lizard man who studies at the school as well, along with 2 other students, even though Kudo has some harsh words against them. But Sable knows that he always tells the truth. Then while Hort is talking to Sable and Lou, she notices someone is spying on them, but she isn't sure, so she doesn't say anything. Kudo goes to the village first while our trio sits down to eat for a bit, and we are introduced to Lou's magic staff. Ludens anyone who touches it would be slain, and all their magic energy would be drained. The only reason Lou can wield its weapon is because she has made a contract with it. Even if all her magic power is drained, she could still survive, relying on Luden's power. Later, as the trio takes a car to the village, Sable gets serious motion sickness, so he has to get off and walk on foot. When night falls, they set up camp in a forest. Sable is impressed by Hort's proficiency with magic, and he knows that she's actually the prodigy of the academy. Sable feels bad for himself, but Hort gives him words of encouragement. Hort then asks Sable about his goal for joining the academy, but he doesn't know. All of his memories have been erased before enrolling in his school. Even though he can cast magic, it always goes out of control. Doing so would put his life in great peril. Facing this harsh truth, Lou advises him to accept his memories being erased and start from the ground up, because if he continues with his life, it would be disastrous. The following morning they arrive at an inn. To replenish their energy, they have to stock up on food. They then encounter 2 other students who accompanied Kudo. They claim that they were ambushed by some bandits last night. Kudo had snatched the map and fled without speaking to them. He seemed to have separated from these 2 after learning that they were the folk of an attack. Because of him, Kudo frequently protected Sable while they were in school. Thus he doesn't think that Kudo is a bad guy. While looking for Kudo, the group comes across his trail, and close by are 3 distinct sets of footprints. They are able to determine that 2 of them are Kudo's and Luz's. The witch hunter's footprint must be the final one. Hoyt wants to turn back because even though Kudo could use magic, there was no sign of magic being used. She suspects that this was the doing of the church's main attack force, the arbitrators of Dia Ignis. Meanwhile, Kudo is hiding in a tree branch when it unexpectedly snaps, and he gets struck by multiple traps. Hoyt first ran into a witch hunter when she was a kid. She witnessed a horrifying scene but lied to the hunter to save herself. They then hear Kudo's scream. Even though the better choice is to run away, Sable won't turn his back on his friends once more. Kudo falls victim to the Toyota trap and runs into the arbitrator. Kudo tries to blind the hunter and make a run for it, but the hunter is magically enhanced and catches up with him. Kudo then gets hit into a tree by the arbitrator. When the others discover that Kudo has the capacity to heal himself as he is pulled away by the arbitrator, Kudo thinks back to his desperate attempts to escape the cage when he was younger, remembering what Albus told him about Lou. He fights back the arbitrator by holding on to the roots of a tree, but the hunter isn't concerned and smashes his hands. Kudo doesn't give up and he chomps on the root. The arbitrator is irritated, so he decides to cave in Kudo's skull. But Lou arrives in time to save Kudo as she demonstrates her prowess by slicing trees with a swipe of her axe. The witch hunter is no match for her. However, Sable and Hoyt show up, and the witch hunter could benefit from this, so he takes Sable hostage. Hoyt is too stricken by trauma to move. When Lou comes over, she threatens that if he kills Sable, then he'll be the next to die. But the arbitrator is not stupid. He makes an offer to Lou. He wants to trade Sable's life for Lou and her staff's capture. With no other way, she has to comply. The arbitrator commands Sable to wrap the staff in its blessed cloak and bring it to him. He continues to order Hoyt to tie up Lou, but she then remembers her traumatic past. She was actually a beastman, but her horn was sawn off as a child. It's also revealed that she is a spy sent from the church. Despite having excellent marks, she didn't want to graduate because she still had her mission to complete. But when she heard about the 3-year special training, she signed up right away. She had planned to sabotage the entire journey, but now she is ashamed of her actions. Even so, Sable just smiles at Hoyt, telling her that it wasn't her fault. His rare smile makes Hoyt believe in herself, so she will help them. She uses Kudo's tailpiece to sacrifice and attack the arbitrator. He quickly retrieves his cloak from Sable to block the attack. As Hoyt has no more use to the church, the arbitrator is about to eliminate her. Sable sees this and looks at the staff of Ludens. He has to do something to save Hoyt, so he takes off his staff with him, wielding the staff. Powerful magic overflows from the staff until the entire group is swallowed by the black magic. When Sable comes back to his senses, his group is completely fine and the arbitrator is nowhere to be seen. After a little scolding from Lou to everyone, they continue on with their journey to the village. When Sable asks how he is still alive after holding Lou's staff, she explains that Sable has nearly unlimited magic power, exceeding how much Ludens could absorb. She now knows why Sable has trouble controlling his magic. And also, now Kudo will also accompany Lou so as to not create any more trouble. When Sable is sitting next to a stream, unable to sleep, Hoyt comes over, bringing 2 cups of warm milk. The two then talk until Hoyt allows Sable to touch her horns back at her home. Because of these horns, she was labeled as a demon child. She was taught that if she wanted to cleanse herself of her demon appearance, she must obey the church and become a spy for them. But as she studied at the academy, she discovered that she was no demon. She was actually a beastman, similar to Kudo. She looks human because as time passes, the human traits take over. She feels happy because Sable doesn't alienate her and Kudo for them being beastmen, unlike normal people. To show her gratitude to him, Hoyt gives Sable a kiss on the cheek before running back to the campsite to sleep. Sable is still a bit shocked until Lou comes to criticize him for not taking the initiative, and laughs as she enjoys the hardship that Sable encounters in his love story. The next morning, the 2 students accompanying Kudo are arrested for having ties with the church, after which the group sits down to discuss plans. They need to find a way to heal Kudo's broken hands. Lou advises Kudo to just use healing magic on himself, but that doesn't seem plausible due to that type of magic consuming a lot of magic power. But that wouldn't be a problem since Sable is here. Lou can help regulate his magic power into Kudo. Trusting her words, the 3 hold hands, and Kudo begins to chant the healing spell with his infinite magic source. From Sable, Kudo is able to regrow his hands along with his tail in just a matter of seconds. With that settled, the group continues on with their journey. But as they just arrive in town, Sable gets drenched in dirty water. Thankfully, Lou usually comes here. She can reserve the entire bathhouse for them, so Hoyt and Kudo won't be criticized. When the 2 boys are alone in the bath, Sable asks Kudo about his reason for joining the academy. Kudo replies that he wants to join the Magic Instruction Army. Even though the roots of this army are from the church, since they have made peace with the witches, they became the army that they know today. They even have a beastman division. Kudo reveals that he was affected by the Northern Calamity when he was a small child. Beastmen like him were the underclass of society at the time. However, he was saved by one of the knights of that army. Thus, he decided to join. As Kudo is about to ask Sable about his purpose, Lu, surprisingly, enters the bath completely naked. Kudo is completely taken off guard and calls Lu vulgar. When they exit the bath, they encounter Holt, who is also naked. Upon seeing the boys, she runs away embarrassed. After this incident, their journey continues, and they all get to know each other a lot better. Curious about the future, the students ask Lu about what she will do after this special training, to which she replies she is going to see the Mud Black Witch because she has nothing to do. The author of all magic would be exciting to meet. Witches don't need anything more to survive. All they require is magic power. To Lu, there is no need to eat, sleep, or even give birth. To preserve her breed is pointless. Unexpectedly, a young boy appears and drags them away, telling them that they would be slaughtered. The beastman that was hunting him had arrived when they were hiding in the tree trunk. With just one swing, the beastman slices off the trunk. As he looks down at the students protecting the little boy, Lu tries to sneak attack him, but he is able to repel her strike. She tells her students to run away along with the boy, as she will stay to hold off this beastman. But after they leave, he doesn't continue fighting. He is a mercenary, and he's not going to engage in a fight that he's not going to win. But he does advise her to go after her students if their safety is her concern. Following the boy, they come upon a priest who, while being blind, recognizes the boy's saviors. The priest tells the free students to leave at once, since this village has been taken over by the witch that hired the beastman that had just attacked them 2 years prior. The witch that governed this village fled, leaving its community deserted and under the hands of others. How could the headmaster not know about this? They were supposed to receive special training. The headmaster's goal, in Sibo's opinion, was to expel the weaker students from the school and force them to participate in this arduous training. The students are quite confused about what to do. When Lu appeared in a tree, she had a hunch that the priest was working with the beastman to prove his innocence to Lu. He would take them around the village to see the responses of the locals. When they get to the village, they meet the father of the child. All his reaction alone shows that the priest is truly a resident here. As they tour around the village, the kid Laos tells them about when he was born. The previous witch blessed him and told him how to create the barrier that he used. A little bit ago, Kudo was still baffled as to why the witch who had lived here ever since the village founding had fled. But Oz had no clue as to why. The group is then brought to a house that had effigies resembling cadavers outside the house. They are left there to show how many people had used to live there, that tried to escape this village without the current witch's consent. And it will be the current accommodation for our group when they are left alone. Lu desires to murder both Albus and the witch. The witch because she was an overall evil witch, and Albus because she has fooled both the students and Lu. Her idea is rather absurd, but at the moment there is nothing they can do. They can try to return to the kingdom and ask the Magic Instruction Army for help. However, that means turning this innocent village into a battlefield. Saba wants to deal with this on their own. Since any other option seems hopeless, they only have two choices: battle or have their memories erased. They also have no access to magic or knowledge of the academy. Seba wants to attempt a suicide mission, and he tells them that since grabbing Ludens, he doesn't fear death. But Hort states that she doesn't want him to die. When he retorts on why, she can't hold in her tears, and she runs away. As Hort is crying and praying in a church, she comes across Lily. She looks like a young girl and she's here to clean the church. Hoyt is conversing with her. When the pastor enters the room outside, Saba is searching for Hoyt to apologize to her. The father is aware of her recent argument with her friends. She then realizes that she needs to make it clear to Saba about her feelings. She is about to thank the pastor and go back to her group, but she is stopped by him. And then she discovers who this preacher is. Her body is already entwined in the water this so-called pastor has set up. He is actually a member of the arbitrators of Daya. Agnes Hort tries to call for help, but the pastor rests his sickle blade on her neck and tells her to cooperate. Hort has not been discovered as late afternoon by Sable, so Lu decides to track her down by following her magic presence. They then find themselves in a cave, and more unsettling, they find some blood on the ground. Lu then sends Hort deeper into the cave, but also others as well. Lu then sends Luden to scout for traps up ahead, but Kira is complaining that they are at a disadvantage and should retreat. However, Lu reminds him of what he wanted to be, so he should man up and be Felix-like, the warriors he dreamed of becoming. But he is too afraid and runs away, leaving the two behind. When he reaches the cave's opening, he runs into someone he doesn't want to see. Sable tries to use magic to light their way, but it gets out of control, so he can only make a tiny, overly bright light. Meanwhile, Kudo reunites with the mercenary from before. But he's not here to kill Kudo, but rather to recruit him with promises of power and a place in the magic instruction army. When he inquires about Hort, the mercenary replies that she has been slaughtered and devoured. Upon hearing this, Kudo becomes enraged. Sable and Lou are trekking deeper into the cave when Sable suddenly remembers parts of his lost memories. Feeling worried for his student, Lou advises him that there's nothing wrong with turning back. But he persists that he will save Hort because she was his friend. The two of them are then abruptly locked up by the pastor, with Luden being confiscated. In this chamber, Sable meets a woman who he recognizes very well standing in front of them. The woman then states that she had been waiting for Sable for a while, as she holds out her hand. When Lou tries to warn Sable of the woman's bewitching eyes, with just a movement of the woman's finger, Lou is sent flying. She then claims that Lou is really a phony who is incapable of using magic. She throws Hort's blood-stained hat to Sable and tells him that she gave Hort to the mercenary from before. She actually took control of this village in an effort to get him back from Albus. Sable assumes that he could save Lou if he unleashed her spell using his magic. But before he could even chant the spell, Lou quickly stole a kiss from him so she can regain her magic power. She launches a powerful spell at the woman without breaking a sweat. She nullifies the spell. The magic that they are using derives from her, so of course, it wouldn't affect her. She is the author of the Grim Orb Zero, the Mud Black Witch herself. The team is doomed to fail from the beginning, as it looks like she is about to attack them. In reality, she is just welcoming the group. She announces that starting from that moment, she would be in charge of their special training. Since this was only a test, Lou is happy to see the Arthur. Hort then runs out to reunite with Sable, revealing that if he had accepted Zero's offer, then he would have been dismissed from school immediately. Everyone in the village, including the pastor, participates in the test. Kudo then appears to have likewise succeeded on the test. Albus is then notified that the free students have all passed with flying colors. Last year, not even a single student passed the test. Additionally, she has put out wanted posters to track down the arbitrator that ambushed her beloved students. Back at the village, they all have a party in the evening. Later, Zira explains that she and the others that were part of this plan tried their best to expel them, because they were basically too talented, so they wanted to see if they were worthy enough to receive this special training. Zero predicted that Hort would eventually possess the ability to sweep an entire army of thousands of people in one swift motion in 10 years. Additionally, Kudo, with training in recovery magic, might one day be known as the Mortal Mage in light of Sable's limitless magical power. Zero can't comprehend his possibilities, but if they don't hone their skills and laze around, they will never reach those great predictions. Zero then tells the three about their next mission, opening up a shop. She gives them free days to think about what they want to sell, but she is then interrupted by the mercenary and the pastor, providing the free with a feast that they deserve. The group then chats about the inquiries they had, and it is revealed that the pastor's eyes are still functional. He can only see at night since he has light-sensitive eyes. Later, as the three are walking through the village, Kudo notices his idol flying in the skies, so he decides to follow. As soon as he lands, he calls for the free students to deliver them letters from the academy. He is the Dragon King of Ruin, or more normally known as Heath. He doesn't feel he deserves the title since he just delivers mail, but Zero tells him that if he's delivering, then these letters must be important. The letter gives permission from Abbas for the free Zuns to use any kind of magic that they please. Kudo, meanwhile, taking this opportunity, wants to ask his idol if he became a mage. Then could he join the army? Though Heath has no idea about that, he encourages Kudo, saying that. After discussing with one another, Lou and Zero come to the conclusion that Sable's father is the 13th evil sorcerer who is also Zero's older brother. After 2 months at the village, our 3 students have gotten used to living here. Along with their chosen jobs, Hort works as a handyman, Kudo helps at the clinic, and Sable replenishes people's magic powers. Day by day, Sable starts to feel at home here. Lou condemns Sable for his refusal to interact with others, but he also has to stay to do chores around the house that they share, including laundry. Lou is curious as to whether Hort has requested him to do her laundry. However, Hort didn't request it. Sable simply did it on his own accord. Lou claims that despite not showing it, Hort actually likes him. Lou doesn't know what to say because his thinking is so simple-minded. Even though Sable is a good boy, he needs to learn how to use his magic better. He is instructed by Lou to go get some tea leaves in the forest. As he goes to look for the tea leaves, he runs into Lyles, who offers to find leaves. But when Sable sees that they were pretty deep inside the forest, it was pretty dangerous. He tells him that he wants to turn back, but Laios tells him to wait and he would go to get the tea leaves for him. But in reality, he got lost and didn't know how to get back. When Sable finds him in a tree, he tells the boy that he is not angry at him. Luckily, the two are then directed by one of Lily's mice. After returning to the village, Lyles is taken away by his mother, while Sable is taken to a church by the pastor who wants to treat him to a meal. He orders Lily to prepare a meal for their guest, but she is a bit shy and is hiding under her cloak. Not wanting to be rude to their guest, the pastor takes off her cloak, revealing that she is a mouse beastman. After a few more scoldings from the pastor and a few words from Sable, Lily finally makes some food for Sable. The pastor explains that Sable and Lyles were very near the honey farm, which was very dangerous. That's why he had Lily's mouse friends help him. When inquired about why he was in the forest, Sable replies that Lou had requested him to pick the tea leaves for her. As he withdraws the leaf, the pastor then tells him that those leaves grow near Zero's shop. After finishing eating, Sable sets out again, and this time he encounters Sword. Seeing blood on her arm, he thinks she is hurt, but she says it is actually the mercenary's blood. While protecting her from wolves, she accidentally shot him with her magic. She is quite distraught about hurting someone, but Lily comes to comfort her. Before he could go and retrieve the tea leaves, Lou has come to take Sable to Zero, who is trying to heal the mercenary's wounds. With Sable here, Zero borrowed some magic from him in order to heal the mercenary. After Sable left to help the others, Lou told Zero how he did nothing but support the other two by tidying up their belongings. She then asked him to go get the tea so he would arrive here later that day. Lou asked Zero why the mercenary had spare clothes at her house, to which she replied that he usually spent the night there. Besides that, Lou also wanted to know why, even though she could have, why didn't Zero take more magic energy from Sable, since that is his job? Zero merely used a little amount of it because she didn't want to come off as exploiting Sable. Zero knew her magical powers were dwindling, but she still desired to pass away alongside the person that she loved. Lives were invigorated by Sable once more, who encouraged him to play with him until the following day in the forest. Sable and Lou go to the forest and continue their search to find the leaf. Lou is astonished by the ability to see Sable being so knowledgeable with plants. They reach the center of the forest where no one enters. Lou gets on the tree and tells Sable that he will get the leaf for him. After acquiring the leaf, they get ready to return home, but they get lost. Luckily, Lily's powers support them, and by using her mouse army they reach home safely. When they reach the church, Lou's mom grabs him and drags Lou home. Sable visits the church, where the priest is really mad about the incident with Lou. They go inside and Sable finally meets with Lily, the girl who helped them in the forest. She is shy at first, but after eating dinner with each other, Lily opens up. After dinner, the father mentions that Sable and Lou entered the sacred cavern, which is off limits for the villagers. He mentions that his ignorance could make him fail the test from Zero. Nevertheless, he tells him to never think rationally and always protect those in help. After their talk, Sable leaves. On the way, Sable meets up with Hort and he notices that there's blood on her hand. Sable questions her about the stain, and she mentions that the blood is from the mercenary. She mentions that they went to the forest where they were attacked by wolves. Hort, while performing an attack, took too much time in the incantation, and the mercenary had to protect her. In doing so, the mercenary gets hit by the spell and gets severely injured. Hort starts crying, saying that she shouldn't be a mage. Lily and Sable cheer her up and Sable goes to see the mercenaries. After reaching Zero's place, Zero is shown stopping mercenaries bleeding but fails. She takes Sable magic by a kiss, and after gaining an extreme amount of magic from him, she uses a magic spell to recover the wound with ease. He wakes up and Sable asks if he is okay. After seeing that the mercenary is fine, Sable requests him to let Hort stay with him as a partner. Mercenary tells him that he never wants to do that and tells him that she is her there is always a next time. Sable remembers that he needs to see Lou and leaves. Before leaving, he tells Zero that Professor Lou will like some tea leaf. After Sable leaves, Lou has a meeting with them and Zero asks why she wants Sable to be a mercenary. Hearing the question, she starts a tantrum, says that this is Sable's hero story, and she wants it to end her way. She wants to see their pupil become the world's best mages. Hearing her tantrum, mercenary leaves. On the other side, the headmaster tells Hold'em the wolf beast fallen to inspect the village where Sable and the others are. She also mentions that he should not do anything reckless, seeing that Sable's father was a dark lord. Hold'em assures him and leaves. Back at Zero's place, Lou and Zero have a personal chat about the magic transferability of Sable. Lou questions why Zero used only a fraction of Sable's magic back then. Zero tells her that she is her teacher and ignores the questions. Hearing her answer, Lu remembers that Zero's magic is depleting fast and she might die. Zero admits that and tells her that she is happy with that since she will get to live her remaining life with the guy she loves. The scene shifts to Hold'em, who is on his way to the village with a mysterious figure asking what the assignment is. Hold'em tells him that he will tell him shortly and leaves. That night, Kudo wakes up and questions what happened to him. After going downstairs, Sable and Hortz tells that he was on a mission to heal 30 injured and sick people along with the doctor. But because of his inexperience, he collapsed after the 4th patient. Embarrassed by this, Kudo asks them about their assignments and they try to dodge the question. Seeing this, Hort tells them about her mercenary incident and Kudo gets relieved that he was not the one with the worst performance. Because of this, Hort and Kudo start arguing, prompting the professor to wake up and scold them. After the lecture, Lu gives them their next assignments and tells them to meet the Mud Black Witch tomorrow. The next morning, the team leaves to meet Zero. They go to the library and Sable gets thrilled to see so many boxes. Seeing his enthusiasm, Zero tells Sable that he should visit the Forbidden Library. Kudo tells them that the library is a dangerous place in the north with monsters with strengths no one can imagine. Hort tries to convince everyone to go and they agree, but before that they need to train to control their powers. Seeing the opportunity, Zero takes a short time to train her so she could never hurt Mercenary again. While they train, Sable looks for a book to read and finds a white book and goes to check on Hort. While training, Hort manages to deal some damage to Zero and she tells Hort to keep training. Zero shows a number of variations of each spell to upgrade her list, but in doing so she collapses because of magic depression. Sable tries to give her magic but it doesn't work. Because of this, he picks her up and tells the other to get Mercenary and some food for her. In Sable arms, Zero see a faint glimpse of the 13th, who is Sable's father. Sable takes her to her place to rest. Zero tries to calm Sable down so he could train better. She looks at the book he picked out from Zero's library and tells him that he can keep it. She asks if Sable could understand the text on it. Sable tells her that he can read this easily. This makes Zero really shocked because the text was made with encrypted text. After a few moments, Mercenary arrives with a basket of food for her. He thanks Sable for his help and tells him that he wants to tell him something. Zero tells the Mercenary that it should be her to break the news. Zero asks him if he wants to be a mage or a magic supplier. If he wants to be a magic supplier, he has no need to be here since she can't teach her anything. She tells him to look into this and Sable leaves. In the forest with Lyles, he uses the book to identify the mushrooms and other plants, also mentioning their needs. They reach a field of flowers and Lyles gets excited after finishing his first quest to find them. He asks Sable about the next adventure and he tells him that he is busy since he needs time to train his spells. Lyles gets depressed. Seeing this, Sable asks if he wants to join him for training and he agrees. Suddenly, Sable notices a reminiscence of the devil in the forest. Sensing the danger, he tells Lyles to get down for cover as he shoots his spikes at them. Sable jumps in to protect Lyles, but he gets stabbed by one spike in the process. Seeing this, Sable picks him up and rushes to the village. Due to his injured body, Sable and Lyles both get exhausted and begin to lose hope. At that moment, Lu arrives and tells him to keep going as Zero and the others are on the way as well. Sable continues again as he reaches Zero, who uses her magic to help them. For this, she needs blood to cast her. Lu offers her blood for this and cuts off her wrist. After casting the spell, Lu and Zero faint. They reach the hospital and Kudo uses his magic to heal them. Kudo also tells Sable to stop crying since Lyles is okay and he doesn't need to worry anymore. Lu explains that the creature he encountered is a big problem for the church, since that creature can multiply through his spikes and grow even deadlier. While they are talking, Zero tells them that this creature must have been placed there. The Mercenary goes to tell the father about this incident so he could take countermeasures. As he opens the door, he encounters Hold'em. He takes Mercenary to the church and they talk to each other. The Mercenary asks why he is here and what he wants in the village. Hold'em tells him that the forest creatures are acting strange and he wants to inspect the village. Father takes Lily to investigate the creatures in the city. Zero arrives and tells them he wants to join them as well, and the father agrees to let her join. After their conversion, Hold'em leaves to see Lu when the father goes to the city. When Hold'em arrives at Lu's place, he sees Sable and the others. He tells them that he is their new instructor and they will follow his every order. Seeing this, Hort questions if he is really a good instructor because the Mercenary is better than him. He tries to convince them that he is really capable, but they don't believe him. They also mention that the previous instructor gave them tasks to perform, but will he do that as well? Hold'em tells them that he is only here to inspect the village and nothing more. This makes Hort question his resourcefulness. Hearing this, Hold'em gets really angry and tells them to get out. After they leave, Hold'em has a brief conversation with Lou about the remnants of darkness matter. Lou questions him if he was the one who unleashed the spell on the forest. Hold'em tells her that if he had done that, all of them would have been murdered first. Lou, knowing that Hold'em is not that type of person to do this, agrees to it. Lou assures him that Sable and the others have great potential within them and they will protect the village. On the other side, Sable gains the motivation to train in magic and informs his friends that he is prepared to utilize his powers as a mage. He attempts to persuade them by explaining that if they train him, he will be able to replenish their magical power whenever they require it. However, during their conversation, Leo's father interrupts for a discussion. He advises Sable to stay away from his son, but Sable requests permission to take Leo out once he becomes stronger, because he had promised to take him on an adventure where Leo could practice magic every day. Leo's father reluctantly agrees, on the condition that he also teaches Leo how to stay safe in the forest. As they part ways, the witch hunter mercenary who had previously appeared suddenly abducts Sable. While being taken away, Sable begins to recall his suppressed memories, including the loss of his mother. Hort and Kudo arrive to rescue him, prompted by Leo's father, who informs them of the abduction. However, Hort's attempt to cast her magic is too slow, and the witch hunter seizes the opportunity to defeat them. As he departs, a blindfolded man arrives and incapacitates the hunter by severing his arms and legs. Everyone returns home, and Sable apologizes to everyone for his unreliability. Later, Sable confides in Hort about regaining his memories and how Lou made him aware of Hort's feelings for him. He admits that despite regaining his memories, he still struggles to understand what it means to have feelings for someone. However, he is certain of two things: Hort is special to him, and he has romantic feelings for Lou. When Hort attempts to replenish her magic by touching his hand, he withdraws in fear, recalling how his touch destroyed the evil witch who killed his mother. He flees the house and seeks answers from Zero, inquiring about the meaning of his mother's warning never to approach someone with the same eyes as him. Zero reveals that his father is the number 13, making her his aunt, and they both inherited their father's unique eye color. She explains that his mother's warning was due to his father's desire to have a son with infinite magic power and transfer that power to Zero. His mother had fled to protect him from this fate. Zero describes 13 as a rationalist and considers Sable a model of his good aspects. She acknowledges that 13 sacrificed countless lives during the war, leading history to view him as evil. However, she reassures Sable that there is no danger in him connecting with her and apologizes for his suffering. She offers to help him learn how to circulate and control his magic. Over the next few days, Sable dedicates his time to practicing magic with his friends, teaching them how to control their powers, just as Zero had taught him. Simultaneously, he studies his father's book to learn and create various magic potions. As time passes, they receive a message requesting their return to the academy because the village is under threat. Sable proposes staying in the village to defend it and suggests using traps to disable the enemies. However, Zero threatens to expel them. Sable agrees to leave the academy under one condition: if his plan succeeds, they will readmit him as a student. The following day, the blindfolded man orders the villagers' evacuation while they prepare for battle. A few days later, 10,000 soldiers begin to invade the village. They fall into the trap set by the students, forcing them to retreat. However, an army of Beast Fallen manages to breach the traps and enters the village. The groups unite to confront them, and Zero gathers the students to regroup and employ their final battle tactics. In a one-on-one battle, Sable uses his eye technique against a Beast Fallen, destroying the creature's arm with his touch. The battle culminates when Zero casts a spell that instantly eliminates all the Beast Fallen. After the battle, Sable expresses his gratitude to Zero for her help and training. When he attempts to return the book to her, Zero insists that he should keep it, and suggests converting the number 13 into Zero, implying that he will find understanding within its pages. Zero bids farewell to him and his friends, and the students return to the academy. Like this video and let me know in the comments if you want part 2.